Welcome to DTM 2016 Career Mode. My name is Vinod and I'm starting a new DTM 2016 Championship driving Bruno Spengler's BMW M4. The sim I'm using is Race Room Racing Experience with the official DTM 2016 cars and tracks. All driver aids are switched off, difficulty set to 100%, and I'm running the default setup. I might change this to a higher level of difficulty and make setup changes as the season progresses, depending on how competitive the AI are. Race distance is set to 10 laps and there's one race per race weekend. This is slightly different from the regular DTM season where there's two races per race weekend, but since I'm beginning with this, I've decided to take it easy. We start the season off at Hockenheim, a track that I'm quite familiar with, which should help me get a good result. We started off with practice where I tried to get a feel for the car, the track, and to try and prepare for qualifying. Here's the start of a practice lap that I was using to practice for qualifying. Turn 1 is extremely fast. You need to clip the apex to the right, use maximum amount of curb on the left to get a high speed exit. Turn 2 is very tight. You need to brake as late as possible but not miss the apex. You need to gently clip the apex and line up for turn 3. The long straight leading into turn 4 is critical for overtaking. It's also an ideal DRS zone. My plan here was to just keep left and use the time to try and get my braking point for the next corner. It's essential to get a good exit on this corner. The next turn is flat out, so it means this is essentially a long straight. Turn 8 is the entrance to a fast chicane. You need to make sure the second half of the chicane, the right-hander, taken as cleanly as possible to prevent anyone trying to overtake you into turn 12. Turn 12 is a really fast corner, and it's also important to use as much exit curb as possible to carry maximum speed. The next section is a very slow section, quite boring since there's not much chance of overtaking. But the biggest thing to remember is the final corner, turn 17, which you must take absolutely perfectly to maximize the top speed on the main straight. That was a good lap, but not perfect lap of Hockenheim. My plan with qualifying was quite straightforward, to try and run 1 or 2 clean laps and get a good spot on the grid. So I was just trying to get a gap to the next car when, BAM! I got bumped off. That was frustrating. So I just jumped into the pits, got myself a fresh BMW M4 and got ready for the next lap. I tried to get as good a gap as I could between the car in front and the car behind me, but unfortunately I was too close to the car that's behind me. Because of a bad turn 1, I left a gap, unfortunately, for Timo Glock. He passed me, and on the long straight, even though I had DRS and I could pass him, the damage was done for qualifying. It was quite disappointing because I knew there was no time left to do one more lap. So all I did was pass Timo and try and maximize the rest of the lap. Eventually I crossed the line with a fairly average lap time, nothing special, and ended up 11th on the grid. Since I had a poor qualifying, I realized that I'll have to take it very carefully on the start, not to make any mistakes. My plan was to stay out of trouble on turn 1 and try and survive without making any mistakes into turn 2. I got that right more or less, so I decided, let me see if I can maybe take a chance, realize it was a mistake and try to back out of it. Too late. After all of that, I ended up P11, exactly where I started. But the good news is I was lining up for at least 2 or 3 positions into turn 6. Turn 6 will be the turn that I'll probably end up taking the most positions. And that's now P9. It was easy to try and overdrive the car because I really didn't want to fall behind. I wanted to push every lap and try and get close to the front. And horrible mistake, ran wide, did my best to avoid smashing the other car, fell back to P10, and now started a long drag of trying to chase to get positions. We jump ahead to the next lap, and I'm on the main straight, got DRS, and I'm trying to chase down P9 and realize there's a small chance of me maybe having a super dive bomb to maybe get a couple more positions, and that's exactly what I did. That's P7. Things are starting to look good again. The AI seem to be battling quite a bit. They slow each other down a lot, so it's starting to make it a little bit easier for me to just stay with them and just take the positions into turn 6 as often as I can. Seems like a good race pace, especially after my good practice. I tried my luck with Motara into turn 2. He had none of it. Kept me behind him until I realized, to hell with that, time for the DRS, and maybe if I'm really lucky I can nail both cars at the same time. Since I was using the default setup, I was hitting the rev limiter quite early on the straight, which didn't really help me. But either way, managed to pass 2 more cars, back up to P5, trying to go for P4. Ended up bumping Jamie Green really hard. It wasn't a fair move, so I decided to give him the place back. At this point I realized I don't want to drive over aggressively. I just want to try and pass the cars as clean as possible. Tried again with Jamie, ended up bumping him again. It wasn't as bad as the previous overtaking attempt, so I decided to keep the place. Ended up in P3. Just got the leaders now to chase, and maybe if I'm really lucky I could win this thing. Had a horrible exit out of turn 1 again, probably because I clipped too much of the apex. There's a small chance of passing Blomqvist into turn 2, but it didn't work out. Decided let me try my luck into turn 6 again. It's going to be a super dive bomb, but I'm going to give it my best. I didn't think Blomqvist was going to let me by. I thought he was going to fight me right till the next corner, but he didn't. So I just passed him to turn 8, and it was just me and Marco Whitman left to fight for the lead. I didn't think old Whitman would just let me pass him, but I decided let's play the waiting game. I still had enough time left to pass him cleanly. I did one of my usual turn 6 overtakes. I brake later than usual, making sure that he doesn't undercut me. And I got a good overtake, and now I'm in the lead. All I had to do was keep it clean and make sure I win this race. Turn 8 took nice and clean. Got ready for turn 9 and 10. Everything was going well. Whitman was still very, very close to me, so I knew if I made one tiny mistake, he was going to pass me. I was worried that he'll pass me to turn 13, so I tried to keep a little bit of the inside line, ran a bit wide, He bumped me. Wasn't too concerned since I still had the lead. Now it was the last two corners. Decided to try and keep it as tight as possible when he bumped me again. And amazingly, takes the lead, passes me on the final corner, and that's P2. It was a very disappointing end to the race. I really thought I had that race won, but P2 isn't too bad. We'll take the second place in the championship and we'll come back at the next race fighting for the win. Thumbs up if you like this video and thumbs down if you don't. Don't forget to subscribe and see you guys at the next race.